Hello. Welcome to Matters of DeCorum. I'm Scott Corum. This is what matters to me, and I should not be recording right now. This is not my customary coffee. This is a bottle of water because I am recording at 9 o'clock at night, and I'd like to get some sleep before Tuesday. Normally, I record these Monday morning, or a couple of days before, and let a scheduled release happen. Today I've got to go to the actual title of this show, Matters of DeCorum. It's a clever riff on my name. I think it's a clever riff on my name. But decorum is also behaving properly, civility, good communication and manners. And so when something contrary to that pops up, I kind of feel a need to talk about it. This is not my usual vlog. Normally I try to be very non-confrontational, non-controversial, neutral topics, things about how I run role-playing games and how I believe they can be better run so that everyone has a better time, or bits about food or history, and tonight I'm going to be addressing some fan rage. My fan rage, to be precise. And what happens when fans are less than civil with one another? I debated with myself about how I was going to do this and whether I was going to do this. But yeah, this bears talking about because it is a single incident, but it is symptomatic of a larger problem with modern discourse, and I think it bears a little conversation. I'm going to be reading a bit off of my screen so that I can correctly convey what this conversation was. I will also be in post putting up screen caps, something I don't generally do. The names will be blurred and altered to protect those involved. I have no desire to out anyone individually or shame anyone individually. But this conversation occurred publicly on my Facebook wall, so I am free to share this. If you want to see more details, you can find me on Facebook. It's also going to ramble a little bit as I do. So, not going to apologize for that. I am 4 or 5 days into some serious sleep deprivation. Which is why I shouldn't be doing this. My judgment is shot to hell. But here's why I gotta do this. I have a lot of Facebook. I have over 500 Facebook friends. I guess that's kind of a lot. A lot of people found me from the documentary, and then friends and friends of friends and friends of friends of friends. I'm very pleased with the broad variety of individuals that I have met through Facebook. I go out to coffee with some of them every so often, for no other reason than I met them on Facebook and we both think we're interesting. Those are good meetings and those are good conversations. I do not agree with the political views and general opinions of maybe somewhere over half the people who follow me and whom I follow. That's normal. I like that diversity because it keeps me from staying in a bubble. I don't just have one set of opinions. I see what people believe across the spectrum: politics, religion, morality, ethics. And it's a fascinating study, and it allows me to think about other points of view and try to respect them as much as I can. If we can't have a civil discussion about the things we disagree about, why bother? And I will see things on my friends' pages that I strongly disagree with, that I think call for some correction or comment, and I'll leave a thumbs up or a heart or an angry face if an angry face is called for. I might post a minor inoffensive fact correction if I think it will add to the conversation. Otherwise, they put that on their page. They are making a statement in their public forum, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's why we have public forums, so that we can make our statements heard, and occasionally we can have a discussion about them. So if I follow you on Facebook and I see something on your page that I disagree with, more power to you. No one is under any compunction to constantly put up stuff I will agree with. Hell, I don't even know what that would be. I post something that I'm interested in, and someone posts a negative opinion about that, well, now you've stepped into my public space. And if your comment is worth a conversation, we can have a conversation. If your comment is worth getting taken out behind the woodshed and spanked a little bit, that's probably going to happen too, because I have my limits. This was not a post about a political view. This was not a post about religion or morals or ethics. This was a post about Doctor Who, of which you might have noted I am a fan. Couple of days ago, I saw that Fathom Events was going to have an event. They are going to put the first episode of the 13th Doctor, played by Jodie Whittaker, on the big screen on October 10th. I'm very looking forward to that. I know not everyone agrees with that particular view, but that's my feeling towards my fandom. You may get an explanation of that in more depth soon. But that's the next Doctor. And I am looking forward to that. To that end, I put up a post with a link to that event with the statement, "Just a thought, but this is a thing," October 10th. And there was some response in the forms of wows and thumbs up. A friend or two posting that they were interested. And then, let's call him X, shall we? Posted a response. "So you can watch your favorite show die a horrible death on the big screen." Let me tell you why that particular statement set me off. There has been a perceived movement to put diversity into places where it has not been in media. Marvel Comics did a number of runs where their traditional lineup of white male heroes were supplemented or replaced with people of gender and ethnic diversity. Those characters have been in place since the 50s and 60s, so I didn't really have a problem with that. It is a different time for different individuals, and if Marvel wanted to throw some diversity, sure. I don't think it was done as well as it could have been. It was a little ham-handed. It didn't really need to be an event, but doing it all at once might have been. But I don't really object to the process. The next Doctor, or the next actor to play the Doctor in Doctor Who, Jodie Whittaker, the first female lead for the show. This has made a number of people, shall we say, upset. I've seen this before. When Chris Eccleston left the show to be replaced by David Tennant, well, David Tennant was really different and shorter, and he wasn't really going to fit. When David Tennant left the show to be replaced by Matt Smith was way too young and looked too gawky and was way too comedic, and that wasn't going to fit. When Matt Smith left the show to be replaced by Peter Capaldi, oh, he's too old. They'll never have any chemistry with any other characters. He's too serious. He's never going to fit. I sat back and I watched, because that's the Doctor, who the BBC puts on the screen in that role, coming in and out of the big blue box that travels through time and space, is the Doctor. X's comment about the show crashing and burning on the big screen struck me as off, because it presupposes that this move, new writing staff, new format for the show, new actor, they're doing different things. And it's just not the first time. It won't be the last. And people who are of the opinion that this means the doom of the show, as apparently X does by his comment, I invite you to read it again and see if you come up with a different connotation than I did, annoy me. Annoy me to the point of vexation, because that's my fandom and it is going to carry forward. My response was a bit of a text wall. I've been hearing that for a while, ever since they utterly destroyed the show by casting Matt Smith as the Doctor. Or that time they replaced Christopher Eccleston. No, this time they've pushed it too far. The Doctor's going to be insert quality you personally dislike about the next Doctor here. My first Doctor was John Pertwee. People ask me, which Doctor is your favorite Doctor? My answer is, the one that displays that romance and intellect will overcome brute force and cynicism. If you tell me that doesn't distinguish between the Doctors, I will look at you knowingly until you catch up. So, all due respect, bite me. Any judgments I have to make on the next series, I will make after I've seen it and not before. And my criteria will remain the same. Does the Doctor display the victory of romance and intellect over brute force and cynicism? Does the Doctor adhere to neither cruel nor cowardly, never give up, never give in? Just my 2 cents. That was more civil than I felt like being at the time. I had a large pile of words I rarely use online, stacked up and ready to fly, but I emptied out my magazine and took the verbiage out of the chamber and thought about my response. That's a reasoned response. That's a civil response. I disagreed. And while my tone may have been a touch sarcastic and condescending, because I felt it needed to be, I clearly and concisely stated my reasons for disagreeing, told them to bite me, and then told them the criteria by which I would judge. I really get my hackles up when someone looks at the next thing that is coming out in a series that I love and goes, oh, they've ruined it. That person doesn't belong there. That person shouldn't be like that. That person shouldn't be like that. Nope, it's over. I'm done. I'm walking away. Oh, bite me. Those works stood on the original works stood on their own at the time and have withstood the test of time. They were not always well received when they first came out. Doctor Who, Star Wars, Akira, Ghost in the Shell, Battlestar Galactica. My list of fandoms extends beyond visual media to books and comics and old radio shows. There is one actor who has ever played the Doctor that I do not care for that much. I believe that all of the actors who have played the role have brought something unique and special to it. From William Hartnell through Peter Capaldi and certain Jodie Whittaker. The only one I have a problem with, that's Colin Baker, the Sixth Doctor, because of all the qualities that people have brought to the Doctor over time, reckless arrogance wasn't one I thought the character needed to display. In fact, quite the opposite. I'm not going to quote or put up the other responses that X's statement got. They were similarly upset, incensed by the nature and tone of his statement. Now, it could have been left at that. But X had something else to say about this. Keep going. I love watching nerds have a stroke over a joke made about a TV show I have been watching for over 30 years. Jesus. Let's break that one down, shall we? The first statement made about going to see your show crash and burn, die a horrible death on the screen. That's a technique that I have seen a number of people use over time. It is a knee-jerk negative reaction. It is not just that they disagree with the direction the show is going in, but they attempt to make themselves seem smarter and more clever by very quickly having a negative response to something. People respond to critics as though they are clever or avant-garde or have some exceptional point of view that might give them insight into these things. Oh, he doesn't like that thing that people likes. That means he must be somehow insightful. No, it just means that they've got a knee-jerk negative response and are attempting to garner attention with it. When that attention turned negative, his response is textbook. Keep going. Well, that presupposes that people need his permission to continue to jump on top of him for his knee-jerk negative response. It presumes to take control of the situation or to appear as though one has been in control of the conversation all along. Keep going. It's a permissive statement. It is a not bad tactic for appearing to have a grip on the situation. I love watching nerds have a stroke over a joke made of... I love watching nerds have a stroke. This one is pretty much the core of my problem. I enjoy watching you be uncomfortable or in distress. I love it when those people get upset. Oh, I love it when those people have a stroke. I love it when those people are going to be so upset when this comes out. Doesn't matter if you're talking about Doctor Who or political parties or any fandom or a religion. I love it when those people are upset. My views on this particular tactic and point of view are best framed from the brilliant television show Metalocalypse by a character named William Murderface. This character, in a conversation with the band's manager, prodded him in a conversation until the manager became quite upset at being belittled and prodded and left. And Murderface's words will always resound in my ears. Did you see that? Did you see how he got really mad and I stayed nice and calm the whole time? That's called being a dick. Murderface was proud of this skill. Murderface cultivated this skill and taught it to others. It's called being a dick. If you can upset the other person, then you win. It doesn't matter if you're right. It doesn't matter what validity your point of view has. Oh, look, you got all upset when I said things to upset you. That's what you people are like, always overreacting and being upset. See, that's why I'm better. I win. To which I say, again, bite me. That does not demonstrate that you have a superior point of view or that you are in any way in more control of a situation. That means you're a dick. You're using a childish emotional manipulation technique to attempt to make yourself look and or feel more in control, more superior in the situation. And you're not. If you're in a room full of people who don't know that's what you're doing, you're a king. If you are in a group of people who fully understand that what you are doing is trying to manipulate a situation emotionally because you got nothing else, you're just a dick. I love watching nerds have a stroke over a joke made about a TV show I've been watching for over 30 years. Hey, I'm a fan too. I have an ownership in this fandom. That's not the worst part of it. The worst part of it is, it's just a joke. Dude, it was just a joke. It's just a prank, bro. Man, you're taking this way too seriously. I was just joking. That's not a joke. Oh, look, I'm going to talk about something that I really enjoy. I'm going to bag on it. That made me mad. It's just a joke. What's wrong with you? That would be gaslighting. You got a problem, man. It's just a joke. Don't you get a joke? Come on, man. I had a response to this. X, I know it's going to wreck the immaculate quality of the humor, but could you explain how your knee-jerk negative comment is actually a joke? My overly sensitive nerd brain is having a hard time with the nuance. I believe in the weaponization of sarcasm more than weaponizing the sarcasm. Having claimed that their statement was merely a joke, it was sufficient merely to ask, oh, why was that supposed to be funny? Can you explain that to me? There was no response. Maybe they didn't feel like getting dogpiled on my wall anymore because that was starting to happen. Maybe they didn't deign to dignify my response with an additional response. Maybe X realized he'd stepped over a line and that exiting was his best strategy, and I can't argue with that. Once you have engaged in such a concentrated amount of douchebaggery, you don't have anything else to go to. That was literally an entire sack full of dickishness hurled onto the ground like pocket sand in the hopes that you're going to confuse and dazzle your enemies. The equivalent of a sea cucumber vomiting up its intestines to try and throw off prey, or predators. And I understand that everyone has a bad day, and that having one's assertion of knowledge or dominance in a subject is not comfortable. And had he said something negative about the first episode of the next season of Doctor Who on his own page, I'd treated it like I treat everything else on someone else's page that I disagree with. Maybe a frowny face. Or maybe just ignoring it and scrolling on. I do a lot of ignoring it and scrolling on. The nail in the coffin was something very simple that I should have thought of myself. But another friend of mine, let's call him Z, didn't make a comment, didn't feel it necessary to say something when something eloquent has already been said. He merely posted the Urban Dictionary, a link to the Urban Dictionary definition of the term Schrodinger's asshole. Thank you, Urban Dictionary, for having this definition available. Schrodinger's asshole. A person who decides whether or not they're full of shit by the reactions of those around them. That guy who posted blank but said he was just trolling when no one agreed with him is totally a Schrodinger's asshole. Oh, no one agreed with me, therefore it was just a joke. I need a t-shirt or a mug or something that has the definition of Schrodinger's asshole on it, because it's now one of my favorite things on the internet. The problems I have with the statements made, the tone that they were couched in, are that they weren't discourse. They weren't a discussion. The first statement, knee-jerk negative response. Bad enough. But then to try and back that up with an attempt to assert control over or assume control over the communication, a call to dismiss his previous statement as merely a joke and responses to it as oversensitivity, and the claim that its purpose or end was to offend or upset people who disagreed with him. This guy's a card-carrying, costume-wearing nerd geek. And if someone who does not understand that culture steps in with a knee-jerk negative and gets called on it, well, they should expect some response like this. But as costume-wearing nerd geeks, which everyone in that conversation is, we kinda have a bond to respect one another's fandoms. I could be wrong about that, and let me know in the comments if you think I am. But a knee-jerk negative response? Really? A emotionally manipulative and amateurish attempt to control the emotional content of the conversation as opposed to contributing a single ounce of intellectual honesty. You want to find out what gets me so riled up that I gotta drink water instead of coffee and do this recording at 9 o'clock at friggin' night? You have just found out. That wasn't a discussion. That was disrespect. That was throwing down the douche gauntlet. And you want to throw down the douche gauntlet on your page? Nothing wrong with that. People are going to do that a lot. That is what we have social media for, so that we can put down our opinions. Good, bad, indifferent. It's what I have social media for. So I can make some statements and share things that I care about. That's usually what I do. I don't get political. I don't talk about religion. I share things that I care about, that I find funny, or incidents in my life that I think someone else can draw something from. But you throw the douche gauntlet down on my page, I will accept the challenge as it is presented. At which point, you'd better bring your A game. I'd like to have a conversation about our difference of opinions. I think we can both learn from that. I don't think either of us are necessarily going to change our opinions, but I would like to come closer to understanding yours, and hopefully you can come a little closer to understanding mine. If we end that conversation a little bit closer towards the middle on both sides, that's fine. And if we don't, at least we engage in some civil discourse. I'll go have a coffee with you later. Buy me a coffee, I'll buy you a coffee, we'll call it even. Yeah, I might go as far as beer. There's some great places around here for that. Yeah, you bring this stuff to that fight? Well, you saw what happened. And I'm sure there's an Urban Dictionary definition to cover that perfectly well. Well, this might have been a little bit more combative than my usual episodes, but sleep deprivation, and I'm gonna claim temporary insanity. Fan rage is a terrible, harsh mistress. And I already got the 13th Dr. Sonic screwdriver in my collection. I had that 48 hours after it became available. Yeah, you'll want to dance on my fandom. Dance with me, because I'm dancing no matter what. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, give me a thumbs down. Feedback is feedback. If you have your own experiences with fan rage, or someone who confronted you with an opinion that just couldn't back it up, any subjects you want to hear me talk about, leave me a comment below. I'll love getting a comment. You'll love leaving me one. If you'd like to see these videos as soon as they come out, and why not, they're awesome, hit the subscribe button. If you do hit the subscribe button, hit the little notification bell next to the subscribe button so you get notified as soon as these videos become available. If you'd like to contribute to the channel in a more substantial fashion, I invite you to hit me up my Patreon, www.patreon.com/DeCorum, and consider donating. Absolutely anything helps and allows me to make better videos more often. In the meantime, stay friendly out there. I'm Scott Corum, this is What Has Mattered to Me, and I will see you next time on the next Matters of DeCorum.